Hello all and welcome to my brief Hearthstone tutorial and my plays video. I had a few requests from a few people about the Hearthstone game and just having basically a brief explanation about the game, just so you guys know what's going on, which is always handy for my viewers. So I'll just go on about the basics of the game, and then hopefully when you watch my streams you kind of know more what's actually happening rather than sitting there going what's going on. Basically there's two kinds of cards, these monsters and these magic cards, and then within that you have your 9 different classes, so mage, shaman, druid, yeah, as you can see right there. So in each of those classes have class specific cards, both monsters and magics, that only that class can have access to, so that's what gives the diversity of things. You also have neutral monsters as well, as we see up here, which all classes have access to. And then, so that's about the basics of that. Moving on, the keynote as well is there's no neutral spells, so all the spells are class specific ones. Moving on, you can see down here we've got ourselves the mana cost. So this thing in the top left corner here represents how much mana a card costs. So that costs 1, you got 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and then we've even got 8, 9, and then even some 10s and even some higher 12 ones. You might ask yourself, how can you summon this? These have criteria. So this one here, if you've taken 20 damage and you're at 10 health, then this monster costs 0. Yeah, that's basics. And then so a card's got a mana cost, and then the card has an attack and health. So every time this monster, say, attacks that monster, it will take the damage from the other monster as well. So then this would be left at 2 health, and that would be dead. And that means then you can come along with some 2 health thing, kill that. You've also got like heals, like what was it, priests, quite well known for like flash heal or their hero power, which is a heal itself. But that's really about the basics of how the monster interaction goes. See these whole bunch of spells here, each one has their different effects, combinations. I won't go into too much detail with that. And pardon me, that's pretty much it for monsters. And then each monsters might have a different effect. So battle cry activates when you play it from your hand. Taunt, that means you've got to attack the taunt minion before you can attack Faith, what's called face. Death rattle is when the monster dives, it gets that effect. We've got divine shield, which is a shield that blocks the first damage it takes. What else have we got here? Yeah, battle cry. Charge means the minion can attack on the turn it's played, because minions can't attack on the turn they've played unless they've got charge. Yep, taunts, stealth, so that's just invisible. Well, it's not invisible, I mean you can see it, but you can't target it. But AoE spells like mages, flame strike will still hit it because it doesn't target. Wind fury, that means it can attack twice. And rage is when it's damaged, it will get how much health. So if this has taken some damage, it will get +3 attack. And some things might have 2 things, taunt, divine shield, just charge, spell damage, death rattle. Inspire, that's one of the newest mechanics. It's every time you activate your hero power, it gets that effect. I think that's really about it for minion. And then so this one, pretty self-explanatory. Start of each turn, gain +1 attack. Yeah, I think that's about it. You get things like this, your battle cries trigger twice, so that kind of alters mechanics. You got spell damage, so your spells that do damage have +1, so say if it was the priest's Holy Smite with that spell damage, it would do 3 damage instead. And yeah, it's really the basics of monsters. Spells, you know, so this is a spell, druid only, so there's all these different spells that classes have. And just I'll give a quick little demo on something. So during each turn, so you start off with 1 mana, and then so you can only play a 1 mana cost card. And then in your next turn, you get 2 mana, 3, 4, so on and so forth. That's the basic of it. There's cards like with the druid, with like wild growth, they can skip it ahead, or the innovate, so they can kind of cheat the mana curve, you could say. And then yeah, when the game starts, there's a first and second person. So first person, they only get 3 cards to choose from, and so this is like, you got your starting hand, and you're like, okay, I don't want Antique Healbot, don't want that. Usually most decks you want your low cost cards so that you can play things in the early game, otherwise you tend to lose your, you could say, tempo, is what it's called. For the second person, they start off with 4 cards and the coin. I think he's going to play the, no, it's not going to play the coin. And see, so now I'm at 2 mana, and I don't know, let's just chuck that up in my turn. Can't really do much, you know. So then now opponent's at 2 mana, and your mana resets. So next turn I'll have 3. So that's a mage spell. And yeah, the coin, which is in his hand, but you can't. There we go. There's the coin. So that's what the second person gets, and it's classified as a spell card. Hence why it synergizes well with Mana Worm. And see, look. Now I'm at 3 mana. I could just Lightning Storm. Damn. So with Lightning Storm, it deals 2 to 3 damage, so it can be 2 or 3. As you saw with the Mana Worm, it only did 2 damage. So that's gonna put me a little bit behind. And Overload is a shaman mechanic, so the next turn I lose 2 mana crystals. So if you look down here, I've lost 2 mana crystals. So a bit behind. Check out my loot hoarder, draw some cards. And yeah, same thing, keep going at 4, 4, 5 for me, 5 for him. Slowly goes up until you get to 10, and 10 is the most mana that you can have. Oh, this ain't looking too good. And that's really the basics of it. And then each player has 30 cards. You can only have 2 types of a card. If it's a legendary, you can only have 1 type. And to win the game, you got to put their health to 0. That's really the win condition. You can do that by damaging. If you deck them out, then instead of drawing a card, they take 1 damage each draw, and then it goes to 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. I mean, I'm pretty fucked here. I'm just gonna fucking YOLO it. Oh, he didn't have a monster. And that's about it. You got silence. That's another thing. Silence removes all buffs and effects. So if I was to silence this dude, his Inspire wouldn't keep going. And yeah, that's really about it. I'm pretty sure I'm fucked in this game. I need to phase anyway. I was just showing you something. That's the basics of the game, and then you build your deck similar to Yu-Gi-Oh. Build your deck, and then try have a theme or that revolving around something.